Hour two of the program, ladies and gentlemen. Tobin and Leroy here with you, 560 WQAM. Get the headlines here. Brought to you by Doral Kia. Doral Kia, choose from over 500 new Kia miles in inventory at the Sportage, Sorrento, and Telluride. And remember, when it comes to Kia, the great deals are at Doral Kia. We got Jameson Olive going to talk some cats with the host and writer from Panthers.com. He will talk to us coming up at about 12:30 today. And then at 1:30, we're going to talk to one half of the UFC 314 main event, Diego Lopez. He's going to be fighting Alexander Volkanovski.
Sorry.
Well,
I'm sorry.
you're excited for that card.
I am actually, dude. At first I wasn't. But it's
me too.
I'm just kidding.
You guys like Michael Chandler yesterday? He was a nice guy, right?
Yeah, he was a
Nice,
guy.
charming
He's
Leroy,
a nice
charming
guy.
fella.
Iron Mike.
See at the top.
Oh,
That's his thing.
okay.
That's his thing.
Showman.
He is a showman.
Yeah.
He is a showman.
I
He
mean,
says he gave us a strategy. He's going to go in there and throw bombs. He's reckless.
Did he miss me?
Yeah, but
What?
I
you
just
mention
see
me?
him missing, and
Good.
Ooh.
Could happen.
Ooh.
Could happen.
Ooh.
he's only had what
Classilan.
6 UFC fights,
Yes.
and he's lost.
He lost 4 of them. He's lost 4 of them.
Yeah, legend though.
In fairness, though, like, it's not like he's gotten blown out. Like Justin Gaethje was a fight of the year, back and forth. He almost beat Poirier. Poirier is amazing. He's a monster.
I know,
Like
he's one of the few fighters that didn't come in and get his feet wet.
Yep.
He came in and was fighting big fights right away.
Can I tell you something that really annoys me and who I'm sick of?
Who?
Can I tell you who I'm sick of? The Bengals.
Wow.
I am sick of the
So random.
Cincinnati Bengals. And let me just tell you why. They are cheap bastards. Okay?
Yeah.
They are
They
cheap
don't pay anybody.
bastards. And I can say this because I'm probably related to their general manager, Duke Tobin. And let me just say, I'm so sick of the Cincinnati Bengals. I am sick of Joe Burrow because everybody, look, he is awesome, but I'm sick of his face and his hair, right? They got a triple crown receiver who they haven't paid. T. Higgins is now franchised. They're probably going to lose their pass rusher, Trey Hendrickson. And no one said one peep about them tanking when the Dolphins were basically getting taken away in handcuffs the same season. And I'm just sick of it, dude, because you want to know something? Sometimes I feel like good behavior in sports should be rewarded. And as much as it drives me nuts is this Stephen Ross, he's got straight A's across the board for player treatment, and it has bought him nothing. And these Bengals just go around willy-nilly, nickel and diming their players. And they're just like, but we got Joe Burrow. And we could just be the Bengals with our Joe Burrow-ness, and we're gonna be just fine. And I'm sick of that.
Problem. Here's the problem. And here's where you know they're cheap. Because they would rather pay a wide receiver $26 million than give him a contract, give him guaranteed money, and it only averaged like 22, 23 million. Right? So they could save money by giving him a contract. But they're like, just franchise him. So, like, yeah, like this is nothing new. Pittsburgh's the same way. Pittsburgh always lets their guys go early, right? They don't ever pay guys either.
They don't pay guys. No, that was a big thing. Wallace,
Cincinnati
Antonio Brown.
Cincinnati, Pittsburgh.
It's like
New England was that way.
Yes.
And so from that standpoint, you have teams, but here's what I would say about the difference between Cincinnati and Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh hasn't had a losing season in 17 years. Cincinnati was a dumpster fire 5 years ago. You got to change up a little bit.
Nah.
Just because you won the Joe Burrow sweepstakes.
I don't think they do, though. I think Joe
No.
Burrow gets to get them the pass of anything.
Right.
He's sweet baby angel Joe Burrow. And so they get away with anything. Duke Tobin sits here like, not paying anybody.
They've always been that way.
I know. Are they going to pay Jamar Chase? They got to pay Jamar Chase, right?
You gotta pay Jamar.
Got to pay Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
Me personally, I would consider trading T. Higgins because you can't have $60 million on one position
You can.
and say you're penny pinching.
Well, the Dolphins don't penny pinch.
They don't penny
They don't
pinch.
penny pinch, but they
Right,
do
but
have
that's
60
what I'm
million
saying.
in one
But
position.
that's what I'm saying. If you're spending $60 million at one position and trying to be frugal, that's not being frugal. Especially when you need offensive line help.
I guess the only difference would be is Chase and Higgins are both super young, and I guess Tyreek is a little older, but I don't think Tyreek Hill is slowing down. Like, do you believe anything that Tyreek Hill is slowing down? Maybe a little bit.
No, I don't. I think his drop in production had more to do with what they were trying to do schematically because the offense looked totally different than when he was going for 2,000.
I got to tell you, Jonnu Smith, he kind of pulled the Tyreek Hill move because Tyreek Hill's always done a good job of hyping up the Dolphins, but I kind of feel like right now it's a little frosty just because of the way things ended. But I was watching this interview on Barstool with Jonnu Smith, pause up, and he was giving me the goosies because he was just talking up Tua. He goes, Tua, elite. We got one. I've been in this game a long time. And I got the goosies, but I'm pretty sure the pessimists.
All the players think this,
right,
by the way.
Right. And
the only people that don't think this are the fans.
Right. And I feel like the fan is going to be like, company man trying to get the bag.
No, dude, no. I've said this 1,000 times. What makes Tua elite is his ability to be accurate and make quick decisions. That is not something that every quarterback has. Most of the quarterbacks that Frog Boy talk about are guys that pat the ball and run around.
Look at him.
Mobile.
What do you do? No, what do you say? So you don't buy what you're not buying what Jonnu Smith is selling?
Every player that is ever publicly credited Tua with being one of the greats has gotten a bag. Name one that's done it for the free. Anytime they leave, it's all noodle arm. When they're here, he's one of the
Nobody's
best.
called him all noodle arm on the way out.
Mike Gesicki said that.
Did he say that?
Maybe.
Excuse me. He called the one time Bengals get to the Super Bowl, Ickey Woods gets high at a crack hole. That's wrong running back. It was the other running back.
Oh, what's going on here?
It wasn't Ickey Woods.
Okay.
It was the other running back.
Get some cool cuts. Get some cool cuts.
Let me
all-time commercial.
I'll think of his name.
That is good.
All-time commercial.
But it wasn't Ickey Woods.
All right.
I remember that.
What's a better deli commercial, football-wise? Ickey Shuffle, get some cold cuts, or cut that meat.
I
meat.
think because at the time we didn't know that Peyton had this in him.
Yeah.
So it caught us off guard.
Sure.
And so I think you go with that one.
Okay. And I get it, but this is the thing. Like, I get it. The Bengals have been to a Super Bowl recently. I get it.
Right.
But I'm just like, man, it almost feels like they're getting away with stuff. You know what I mean? And I don't feel like the Dolphins ever get away with stuff. I feel like the Dolphins are always like paying out the nose. They get no reward for it. And there's part of me that feels a little bad about that.
Right.
Now, obviously they've, done some things that aren't great looks, firing Brian Flores while trying to hire Sean Payton and being one of them. So maybe they are owed some of this karmatically. I don't know. But from my standpoint, why are the Bengals sitting here? They're like, do we pay these guys? It's like, doesn't matter. We have Joe Burrow. Everybody's happy.
Right. By the way, it's Stanley Wilson was the running back.
Oh.
Stanley Wilson was the guy. It wasn't Ickey.
Luis says Dolphins can't draft, must pay mercenaries.
No, we can draft. We just don't retain our talent.
That's true.
We struggle with drafting cornerbacks, though. I will say that.
Oh, yeah. Do you have any belief this Cam Smith's going to work out? Like 0%, right?
He'll work out as a starter on the Commanders.
Yeah.
Like no way.
Yeah.
What happened now? Do you think
Do we have any faith that Cam Smith, their second round pick from 2 years ago, the guy that was in Fang's doghouse, played this year, but he was kind of hurt a lot, but year 3, do I have any faith this guy's going to be a thing?
Here's where I'm going to be careful with it, because every NFL player or NBA player or baseball player isn't ready right away. And because of where a guy is drafted, we assume that he should be able to go in and play. So I'm always going to be a little, reserved, or I'm not going to just be out there saying, no, it ain't going to work out. That being said, there are certain signs that you can tell that it's not going to work.
I have no idea if it's going to work.
Right.
It's like, that's the thing that just...
I'll give you a perfect example. When is the only time I ever got mad at a young guy? Is you a first round pick, you can't even be active?
Yeah.
And
he's had plenty of inactives too.
Right. So that's where you can't help this team at all.
It's crazy.
Right. So
like Chop Robinson, we were like, oh, okay. You see it. Even Jalen Phillips, back end of his rookie year, you're like, okay. I just am like, but you know what the weird thing about is the Dolphins, and I for the life of me am never going to be able to figure this out. Why recently are they whiffing on high cornerbacks, but they're the kings of undrafted cornerbacks?
Right.
What the hell is that? Are they not all the same scouts?
No, but here's...
Or am I just grading it differently?
But here's the deal. Grading players, right, and giving them a number doesn't necessarily translate into how good they're going to be in the NFL, because some guys possess skills, but you haven't seen it against certain talent, so you question whether they have that ability. Whereas other guys might be second-round picks, but they played in Alabama. It doesn't mean they're any good, but they played in Alabama, so everybody's like, ooh, let's get this Alabama linebacker or Alabama cornerback.
I never questioned Storm Duck. Too cool a name.
And there you go.
Pretty good.
There you go.
Had a good season.
He did.
I think he did.
No, he did have a good season.
I felt like he did.
He did have a good season. He did have a good season.
Noah was terrible down here, but the Commanders love him.
Yeah. But I kind of get it. But that is the tough thing, because it's like, okay, he was a first round pick. There is a point where you got to draw.
The third one, so they kind of took a reach.
Yeah, I get it. And he was, but like he was young, but also so was Austin Jackson, and he worked out by year 3.
Different position, different player. That's the hard thing. Like, you're sitting here trying to compare playing DB in the NFL with what you have to go through to playing lineman.
Also,
I would say an offensive lineman and the things that they do on the offensive line are easy to transfer over to the next level than corner, where you might play on a team that could send you out there and say, you lock the best receiver down, and that best receiver right now is an insurance salesman. And it don't work when you get to the next level like that, because you can't just put that guy out there and say, go get you some Randy Moss, or go get you some Tyreek Hill or some Jalen Waddle and lock them down. There's only a handful of guys that can do that.
You know what we should do, dude? You know what the NFL should do? Because I'm really missing some football.
What should
NFL should have a spring game.
Ooh.
A spring game, dude.
No,
with
those guys are playing in the other league.
No, I don't want to watch. I'm not going to watch XFL.
Spring game.
Spring.
So wait a minute.
Yeah,
wait a minute.
Spring game.
Wait a minute.
Dude.
Spring. How come no one thought of that?
Ah! Stop it. After 17 weeks of guys barely making it through the season,
right?
Your quarterback hasn't.
Yeah.
You want him to play more football?
Put a red jersey on him. Okay, we'll modify rules a little bit.
No, you're not.
Just like a spring
you know
game.
what you're gonna say after a while? Yeah. This is like the Pro Bowl. This is why we hated the
Pro
Bowl.
No. But it's mostly going to be guys who need it, to really make an impression.
Like a JV team.
Yeah.
But they don't have rosters that big.
figure it out,
Oh,
dude.
they
It's just a
got
little
it.
Runski. What?
They have another league that does that.
I don't want to watch the XFL or the
Ooh.
UFL or whatever the hell The Rock put together. I'm sick of him, dude.
Yeah.
Do you see what he did to John Cena? He made him evil.
Did you see that? That was crazy.
A spring game, dude. Like, wouldn't it
40
be
days.
what?
40 days.
40 days? This has nothing to do with fat shaming.
But it's just my overall anger is going to make me say some things I regret.
But dude, tell
This is ridiculous.
no, it's not.
You want guys to play more football?
Just a spring game, dude. Just one spring game, like a showcase.
How much you going to pay them?
I don't know. There's plenty of money in the NFL. I know that.
They can all use my code.
Give him a game check.
Maybe a little
One game check.
Yeah, because it's mostly gonna be for the young guys. It's mostly gonna be for the young guys.
Huey Magoos.
You know, like Tyreek Hill doesn't play in the spring game, but like Taj Washington coming back from an injury, we haven't seen him.
Dude,
I have. When's the first time I'm gonna see him? A little
do you
spring game.
Do you understand
Yeah.
what you're asking a football player to do?
Jalen Wright.
You've gone through 6 months
Mhm.
of banging bodies. Give us another month.
No. But they're gonna be there anyway for what, like mini camp and OT.
Yeah, you can't just get ready to hit people.
Why not? For the young, like Patrick Paul, wouldn't you feel good?
Clearly, you are a person that has never put on pads and hit anybody.
Hold on. First of all, we already complain these guys never hit anybody. We already do that. You complained about that during training camp. These guys aren't ready to hit. Not ready to go. Okay.
Right. But doing it in May
Why not?
or no.
It's almost like a test camp, you know? Like sometimes fighters will come down here, like Dustin Poirier, he doesn't have a fight till the summer, but he might come down for 3 weeks, go to ATT, get a couple rounds in, and then Van Moose back to Louisiana.
Spring game.
A spring game, dude. How comfortable, dude, first of all, it would kill, right?
Yep.
Second of all, imagine we had a game, Marcos.
Yeah.
Now we have a battle for the Dolphins' backup position. We got Marcus Mariota, maybe Teddy Bridgewater comes back. Somebody who could just make an impression.
Yeah.
And Patrick Paul gets some reps at left tackle.
Yeah.
But it's all very easy, breezy. Just a spring game.
Jalen Wright, he can get some action.
Right,
there,
dude.
you know?
Exactly. Just a little,
Yeah.
just a preseason to the preseason, you know?
Maybe I can finally see what Channing Tindall looks like.
Right, dude.
Remember him?
Last legs.
That.
Maybe Jarvis Landry wants to come and play a game. We have an old timer position.
Oh, on both sides of the ball.
Right.
Yes. Spring game.
So you think if a guy had a choice of playing,
Yeah.
he'd come back and play a spring game
Yeah.
and not try to get paid for the regular season?
No.
He's not going to get hurt. It's a spring game.
Spring game.
A spring game,
That's
dude.
what they all say.
They didn't even wear pants. Just shorts. Shoulder pads.
No, you gotta put on the pads.
All right. Spring
Just
game.
for optics.
Yeah, a spring game.
You know that'll never fly, right?
I don't know.
Orange jersey.
It'll never fly.
Who's got the orange jersey?
I'm telling you right now, a spring game.
Why do the worst bits last the longest? I agree. I agree.
No.
Spring
We're going to
game.
break.
Oh.
No, we're going to break. We're not doing this.
Spring game.
Channing Tindall.
2-1 filthy.
Too much?
Never.